Hello. So the other day I found this Buzzfeed quiz and it was like, can you make a cake without a recipe? And I was like, I don't know, can I? So I decided to see if I could. So I took this little quiz and I answered all its questions, and then at the end it was like, congratulations, you baked a perfect cake. And I was like, did I? If I were to take that exact recipe and put that to the test, would I bake a perfect cake? And so that's what we're doing today. We're baking a cake off of a Buzzfeed recipe from a quiz I took. So yeah. But I've decided that since I'm doing a baking video, I should probably dress like a housewife from the 50s. I don't know, it just feels right, so let's just do it. Okay, now that we're properly attired to bake a cake, because I feel like I just couldn't do it if I wasn't dressed as closely as I could to my approximation of what housewives wore in the 50s. Did you know I got these pearls from Kim Kardashian's mom? I went to a taping of Ellen like 3 years ago when I first got to LA, and Kris Kardashian, no, her name is Kris Jenner. Kris Jenner went on Ellen and she gave away boxes of these pearl necklaces and earrings, and I have never until this day worn them, but here we are. I did it for you. Are you happy? Are you happy? Okay, so let's make a cake. According to the instructions, first we're going to turn our oven to 375. You can see I've got an old oven, so we're just going to let that heat up for a while we mix the rest. So, the next ingredient, according to this list, is 3 cups of flour. Gonna wash that pan real fast. The first thing to do when baking a cake or cooking of any kind is to wash your hands, which is what we're doing. We're also going to remove my hair ties from my wrist because sanitation, things being sanitized, sterile, that's important. Summer, you say? Couldn't you put all of these in a nice little already separated out thing before you started this so that we wouldn't have to let you do this? To which I reply, sure could. I sure could. But here, it's all about the journey and not the destination. Oh. I'm also going to try to record myself on my phone doing these like close-up shots because I don't have 2 cameras to set up. So it's gonna be really real and gritty, like drama and documentary, and that's the film style I'm going for, not just Summer, you didn't think this out before you decided to bake this cake even though you had a month and a half since you had this idea. Okay, so here we go. Alright, and look at that true crime drama. Let's go. Shake it down. My grandma told me that using a different scooper, like a smaller cup, to fill up the cup of flour or sugar gives you, like, it's not as packed in there and you get, like, better stuff. So this time, scoop it out like this. Scoop it all out like this. I think I'm killing this bag of flour. I'm interested to see how this cake tastes once it's actually done. I'm like, is it just gonna taste like real floury, because it's a whole bunch of flour. I'm also a big believer in cleaning up to go along. Also, some wisdom from my grandmother. That's broken. Okay. What's next? According to this, is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Baking powder, so soda, baking soda, and shabam. I feel like there should be salt in this. There's a lot of salt in like cookies and stuff. I mean, there's not a lot of salt, but there is salt in cookies, and there is no salt on this recipe. So, Now we're on to 1 3/4 cup of butter. Here's what we got. We got 2 half cups of butter, which makes 1 whole cup, which means we got to get the rest out of this bad boy. It's like all of my butter. How will I make mac and cheese? Summer, what are you doing? That's not the way to bake stuff. And I will say, ha ha ha! Tell me the way then, oh wise baker! As I hammer butter into this cup. Every day is something I don't know the words to this song. Words to this song. And anyway, I think that's enough butter. And I was very right that it used up all of it. And now this is empty. How will I make mac and cheese? Time for more gritty realism. And don't rip paper. No paper! Keep my hands on the action. Come on, friend. As you can see on my wrist, I have a nice tan line from my rubber bands. Come on. I believe in you. This is the least graceful thing I think I've ever done. Oh, darn my lack of skill at the womanly arts. It's okay. I am actually quite a decent cook when it comes down to it. I just have not gotten down the art of, maybe if I undo both sides. There we go. That's an idea. The art of filming the act of me. Dang it! Don't darn! Dagnabbit. Okay. There we go. I have baked things like cakes and cookies before, and they've come out okay, but I always have a recipe, and so I can't quite remember what to do. So, I just wrote everything down in the order of the Buzzfeed thing, and I'm pretty sure I was supposed to mix the wet ingredients first. It didn't say to do that, it just in the order it went. So now it's time for 2 eggs. So a long time ago, it was either a cooking show or a friend in college. They told me that if you could crack an egg one-handed, then you'd pretty much arrived cooking-wise. I don't think that's what they meant, but been doing it for a while. But now I've got a camera in the other hand, so let's just see. Yes, that's the way. Just use all of your might and shove it open. Oh, that's not a good thing, is it? One more time. Pow. Now we're on to 2 cups of sugar. 2 cups of sugar. We're just gonna go with it. What we have here, I will be using our nitty-gritty camera for the example, is the largest cup in the ladle. And because it was the largest, I assumed it was 1 cup. It is not 1 cup. It is 1.5 cups. So I've ruined it. And now I have to do math. Okay, so 3 cups is now 1.5 cups each time, which means I put, so 3 cups of flour, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 2 halves to make enough, that's 4. So that's 4.5 cups of flour. Am I correct? If I'm wrong, let me know. So 3.
So 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5 equals 2 halves. I'm gonna do this face again. So 1.5 plus 1.5, 1.5, I'll do it this way because it's hard to make. 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5. 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5 is, these two equal 1, so that is, got a half left over, we carry the 1, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, so 4.5 cups of flour, there's 3. And I did 2 cups of sugar, now 2.5 plus 2.5 equals 5. Wait, 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1. The math wrong. My math is wrong. 4 plus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I have lost my math edge. So now I have to come to a decision. Do I just let it be and let the disaster play out? Or do I try to alter the amounts to fit it? Do I stick as close to the recipe as possible even though I've now created a disaster? Or do I try to do baking math? Because I did 1.5 cups. So x over 100 equals 4.5 over 3. 4.5 times 100. That'd be 450. Yes, equals 450. 450 divided by 3 equals 1. It equals 1, 5, and equals 3 goes into 5. 3 goes into 15 5 times, so that's 15.
So 15 over 100 is a terrible fraction.
Would be 3/20, which doesn't help me any. Okay, so I've made my decision. I'm gonna wing it. So I'm gonna add, since it was 1 teaspoon baking soda, I'm going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon more of baking soda. We're going full on no recipe now. Winging it. Okay. We have no more butter, so that's just gonna have to stay where it is. Do I add another egg? For science. We added plenty of sugar, that's the next thing on the list. And okay, now we're at 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Now if I go 3/20 over what that is, I'm gonna do 1.5 teaspoons and another 8. Yeah, that seems about right. We're at 1 cup milk. Everybody acted like I was crazy when I said there was a difference between dry measuring cups and liquid measuring cups. But I know I'm not wrong, because you don't need a spigot for flour. This is a dry measuring cup. You use it to scoop stuff. And this is a wet one. You use it to pour things. I'm gonna use this liquid measuring cup to do, said 1 cup of milk. I'm going to do, it's a lot of flour. So I'm just gonna do, I'm gonna get my other one. I'm gonna do 1.25 cups. Just 1.25 cups. 1.25 cups of milk. There we go. It's fine. I've done a lot of like box cakes, like, you know, the ones where it's like add oil and add 2 eggs. So I actually do cook quite often. I wanted to be so much better than I was this time, but I haven't been because I am not observant. Let's just go ahead and do 1.25 cups of milk. I'll take cream cheese. I'll take cream cheese. I promise I'm not trying to be like worse at this than I am for humor. I'm actually trying to do a really good job. I got this bad boy working. I know it would be funny to watch me make a disaster of mine. Just like put that in there full speed and it would, yeah, we'd all laugh, but I don't want to clean that up. So, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix it up a little bit first. Like I'm gonna give this a nice mixing with a spoon. And probably all the people who actually bake baked goods are like, what on earth are you doing? And oh, my answer is just my best. What we've got here in the bowl is something that to me looks a little stiff to be cake batter. So I'm gonna do a little bit more cake mouth. I'm just gonna whip out a little cake science. Try to mix things. And we're gonna add another 1/4 cup of milk. So instead of 1 cup of milk, we are doing 1.5 cups of milk at this point to try and save what I destroyed. Here goes nothing. And then still, I distinctly remember cake batter being somewhat pourable. This, I mean, it's pourable, but like, you know? I honestly can't remember. Am I thinking of pudding? We're going to put the same amount of butter, of milk that we did butter, and I'm going to put 1/4 cup more for safety. And that's it. I'm not going to put any more in there after that. Oh, my word. I'm a mess. Okay. That, yeah. That seems a little more like cake batter to me. So I just want to see. This is not a cute video of me. That's really sweet. Oh boy, it is sweet and yet somehow still tastes of flour. It needed salt. It needed salt to cut through all that sweetness. BuzzFeed was wrong. That's not on me. I sprayed the pan. No. Yes. I'm gonna take this salt shaker. I'm gonna salt that stuff. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. To quote the Cooking Network, something needed to cut the sweetness. So I used some table salt. So I maybe threw like 1/8 of a teaspoon in there. Alright. Oh, this is not gonna taste nice. Time to put this cake in the oven. So we're at about the 35-minute mark. Gonna go ahead and give it a test, see if the knife comes out clean. Oh yeah, give that a gander. We're losing a... Oh heavens! Oh no! And it's still completely liquid inside. A little sneak peek. Oi. It's just pouring out of there. Like a little cake fountain. Alrighty, we're closing in on an hour and 25 minutes of baking time. Oh ho ho. Have we perhaps... Oi. Nope. All right, we're back. It's been in the oven for an hour and 45 minutes. Look at that. Look at it. Oh, we are done. So the cake is still quite warm. But as we can all see, it's a little bit, got a little bit of a crust. There's a little bit of a crust going on. I'd like to cut the crust off so that I can flip it over and have a cake with a flat bottom. Woo! Heavens above, I've never ever seen anything quite like that. Well, this is gonna be easy as heck to frost, because it did not stick at all. I don't know if they even showed you guys the little mini cake. Little mini cake that came out of the bottom. So weird. So, the cake is still a little warm. I know you're supposed to like wait till it's cool, but it's been cooling for probably like an hour now. So I say it's now or never. All right, moment of truth. Get some of the frosting on there. Ow. I don't know why I thought those sugar crystals were a good idea. It's not bad. It's just like cake. Like a really, really plain cake. So the question I started this video with was, can I bake a cake without a recipe? And apparently I can. I wanted to be much more successful than I was, but I'd say it still turned out okay. It's very dense and moist. It's just like your average run-of-the-mill cake. If a little, you know, bland. Like there's some flour in there. Like somebody put a whole extra cup and a half of flour in there. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you feel like it. To quote Marie Antoinette, if she said it or whatever, let them eat cake. Wrote a poem about that once. Wrote a whole poem about it.